All right, we'll go ahead and get started. A couple minutes early here. I tend to run a little long, so we'll try to jam it all in one quick 50-minute session. My name is Chris Hill. I'm the president and CEO of Overtake Digital. We're a full-service digital marketing agency out of Chicago, one of the only human-driven, non-programmatic solutions in the industry. So I am a Google specialist, meaning I do hold every certification that Google offers. I'm very passionate about what I do. I've been speaking since I was a dealer, a digital dealer for NADA, Digital Dealer, CES, NCM, NADA, and so on. So been doing this a long time. I am a 12-year vet of the automotive retail space. I joined the dark side of the business, the vendor side, about 4 years ago. But I think it's very important to connect with you dealers. You know, a lot of speakers have never been in our ecosystem, have never, done that arbitrage. And it's something I pride myself to say I'm one of you. But I'm able to really relate with what you guys are doing and how to help you do that. So I do say I'm a practitioner, plumber, meaning that there's a lot of people that want to stand up here and be architects. There's too many architects in this industry. Too many people that want to tell you how to do it but have never done it themselves. All right, somebody that has gone through this, again, has done that arbitrage in that ecosystem, somebody that's actually posted a Facebook ad, not just want to tell you how you're supposed to do it, but have executed these campaigns myself. All right. When I say I am a practitioner from it, I do have quite a social media following. I've had several viral videos out. I have over 90 million views on YouTube, over 100,000 followers on Instagram, and so on. So only to give you guys not only the fact that I promote it, but I also do it myself and live and breathe it. So a real part of this community. So I wanted to kind of walk you guys through SEO, pay-per-click, and social media. I want to get the meat down as far as pay-per-click goes, because there's so much going on in the industry right now with pay-per-click, and also shed some light on some new things that have been coming out over the last couple months that you guys need to be aware of as dealers, so you guys can go home and execute it. And I'm going to give you guys that option today. I will leave you with something that you guys can go home and execute tomorrow. So I'm going to skip ahead a little bit on SEO, and I'm going to start with pay-per-click. About 95% of the industry right now is running on what we call programmatic. Programmatic means there is software built to manage your campaigns. All right. So basically, this software is rented. It's typically Adobe, Marin, Kensho, DoubleClick, and so on. These programmatic solutions can typically handle a couple $1 million worth of spend, or a couple hundred clients, or close to 100 clients with a single person. So you're really relying on that programmatic solution to bring you the type of returns that you're looking for. All right. For us, we don't do that. We're fully non-programmatic. I think it's important that since we pay a premium for all these companies to manage our pay-per-click, that we have professionals living and breathing our accounts every single day. One thing that I always hoped for when I sat down as an e-commerce director, I was an e-commerce director for a 20-point group out of Chicago by the name of Bill Jacobs Automotive. I was always, getting pitched. I was always sitting down for these, the newest, best product. And what I saw over and over again was, a good sales pitch and then software that really never brought it home. And at the end of the day, what I realized what I really wanted as a dealer was someone to care. Someone that really was going to be involved with my account, that was going to go in there and get their elbows or their fingers dirty, all right, and that we're going to deliver these results that they say we're going to, not just plug me into a machine where I could tell them getting auto-filled into their latest template or whatever they're doing. And if the program doesn't work for me, I can complain and maybe they do something, but it always typically ended up with a real lack of results. So be wary of the programmatic solutions out there. Again, this software, again, is written to manage this pay-per-click for you. The way Google kind of judges pay-per-click is through quality score. Quality score is kind of the Bible for Google. Google's job is to give you the best possible answer to a consumer's question. So when it comes to quality score, this is the way that Google grades your pay-per-click and decides how well that you're answering consumers' questions. All right, so when you guys are going in there and finding out if you're answering these questions, we really want to focus on what we call low funnel questions. All right, building awareness for the brand or interest and desire in your vehicles is really a tier 1, tier 2 effort. Tier 3 is action. All right, these are the people that are asking questions that you would receive on your showroom floor. So when a consumer walks in and says, what's the lease on this F-150? What are the offers, the deals, the specials, the incentives, and so on? They're doing this on Google now all the time. All right, so when you get back to your store, I want you guys, or you get back into your room tonight, I want you guys to go on your cell phones, and I want you guys to pull up Google AdWord Preview Tool. What this will do, will allow you to place you as a user in your market. All right, it also pulls out all your old searches and the profile that Google's built for you, and it's going to be a more raw profile because we search our own dealerships all the time and we click on our own name all the time. So Google knows that you're interested in that dealer, and so it's going to give it to you more often. So when you go and you Google something and you say, I always come up first for it, it's because you built a profile for yourself, and that's what Google's doing on purpose. All right. So Google AdWord Preview Tool will allow you to even choose the device, which is obviously mobile, tablet, or PC. The language, so if you guys are running Polish, Spanish, Mandarin, and so on, you can search in those and find out if you're a pay-per-click company and inspect what you expect. If they're running ads, I've seen plenty of clients where I've searched in English and seen Spanish ads come up, and you just kind of figure out what they're trying to do there. But it's a great way to judge how you guys are doing. But start asking low funnel questions. These low funnel questions are consumer asking F-150 lease. All right. Toyota Camry lease, any offers, deals, specials, incentives, discounts, payments. Those are low funnel questions. The reason I say they're low funnel is these people are asking buying-based questions. If a consumer comes on and goes, or comes into your store and says, I really don't know if I want a Chevy or if I want a Ford or a Dodge. They haven't even built that interest or that desire in the brand. But if they come in and say, I'm just looking, but what are the incentives on this Jeep Wrangler? That's a buying-based question. All right, and we can't ignore that. If we said that or we ignored that on our showroom floor right now, that consumer would just end up walking away. All right, so when it comes to pay-per-click, they're asking these exact same questions in your market. 2018 Ford F-150 lease. Search that, all right, or search your brand with the comparable car and see if your brand's coming up with those answers. Better yet, see if anybody else in your market's coming up with those answers. If they're not coming up with those answers, there's two different things. And if you're not, that means you have a lot of opportunity to start gaining market share and people asking those questions in your market. But you're also going to see a huge lack of those answers in your market, meaning that your competitors aren't even answering. So the opportunity that opens up when you guys see that and when you see that your other dealers aren't doing it is massive. All right, so when a consumer's asking that question, you got to be there for it. So I'm going to go through a couple of them. This consumer asked for Chevy Silverado lease. So Chevy.com came up, Smart Auto Leasing. No one gave the lease payment. Now we went over here into a Texas-based search, Ford F-150 lease. You can see that Park City Ford came up with that exact lease, gave them exactly what they wanted, and the consumer clicked on that and ended up buying a car. Same thing with this Honda. When you're looking for Honda incentives, you got to make sure that you guys have those answers up for the consumers to answer them. To click on them. All right, this is going to happen every single day in your market. And what better client or consumer do you want to get at than somebody that's asking buying-based questions? All right, if you answer that, then you're going to get first swing at the plate. All right, so when it comes to quality score, Google's looking for the people that answer these questions the best. So quality score is built out of the vertical quality score tax. We'll come back to that. Historical performance, click-through rate, overall account quality. That's really after the fact scores. All right, so if you guys are with a provider that has poor quality scores, their account's already going to be kind of tarnished, all right, because they are already running on a low quality score, all right? Now, the real meat of this is ad copy relevance, keyword relevance, and landing page relevance, all right? So a consumer asked for a lease. Did your ad provide the lease? Did lease that vehicle in the keywords of your ad copy? Yes, yes, and then if you take them to your landing page and landing them on their home page, that's not enough. The landing page relevancy does not have that lease. Landing them on your inventory does not have that lease. All right, so if I searched and I walked away from the automotive industry for a second and I started searching yellow volleyballs, and then Amazon gives me blue baseballs, all of a sudden my bounce rate's going to go skyrocketing on that ad because I asked for yellow volleyballs and they're giving me blue baseballs, and all of a sudden, all right, my quality score is suffering. Now, how does Google know how a quality score is doing? All right, they're looking at overall behavior, all right, and that's a big one. And a lot of people want to know how Google knows how their ads are doing. There's not somebody sitting there looking at every single one, it's an algorithm. And the algorithm looks at the quality of the ad. Now, they don't know how well or how good that lease question or that lease answer is, but they know how well that the user's experience went. All right, so what they're going to do, let's say there's 100 searches for Ford lease in your market today, all right, and every single time they answered your question with, we have great deals on Fords, the consumer clicked on it, they bounced at 80%, they didn't look at a lot of pages and spent low time on site. Google's going to take an aggregate of that information, let's say 100 searches today, and they're going to find out that every single time they answered with your pay-per-click ad, this consumer bounced at 60 to 80% of the time. They looked at one page, maybe 1.5 pages, and spent less than a minute on site. So Google goes, wow, we didn't do a very good job answering that consumer's question because their user experience was awful. All right? Now, the one in that market that does answer that, you're going to see a much lower bounce rate, all right, because that consumer is going to get the question. They're going to look at a lot more the question answer. They're going to look at a lot more pages. They're going to spend a lot more time on your site. Google's going to go, wow, this is a very good answer to our question. So this is a very good quality ad. All right, so what does the quality score of your ad mean? All right, well, it means a couple things to your dealership. First off, it's going to increase your share of voice or impression share. So if there's 1,000 searches for a new Ford lease in the market today, how many did you show up? 50% of them, you have a 50% impression share. All right, so as the quality score increases, your impression share will increase. All right. The next thing is average position. You got 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now I can talk about 5, 6, 7 at the bottom, but who's been down there looking at ads? If your ads are down there, it's time to move on from the company you're currently with anyways because you have no relevancy. They're putting you at the bottom to spend your money, but not really get you any clicks. All right. So it's very important that we give the user a good user experience because that's Google's job. And if you give them a good user experience, they're going to reward you. And I'm sorry, I'm flipping around here a little bit. But as that quality score increases, what's going to happen is, this is the best part of a good quality score, your cost per click decreases. All right, so an average quality score of 5 to 6 is going to see anywhere from a 15% increase of cost per click to a 0% increase. All right, if you get up to the 8 or 9, you're looking at anywhere from a 35 to 40% cost per click decrease. All right, so if you're spending around numbers here, $10,000 on pay-per-click a month, and you're at $2 a click, that's 5,000 clicks. Now, if you start answering these consumers' questions where they're asking for them, right there on Google, all right, you're going to see a drastic increase in your quality score. That quality score is going to get you up to an 8 or 9 or even a 10, and now all of a sudden you're seeing a 50% decrease in cost per click. That means you're going to get 10,000 clicks for $10,000. I'm sorry, yeah, 10,000 clicks for 1,000 clicks for, sorry. Yeah, 10,000 clicks for $10,000. Sorry, I got mixed up there. So it's very important that we increase our quality score, and it's very important that we take these consumers' questions seriously. I walk into so many dealerships after I do an assessment for them, and I find out they want to do value props like, we got great deals on cars. Okay, well, that's not answering the question. That's not going to earn you a click. All right, loyalty is pretty dead right now. You know, the next generation's really looking for the best deal. All right, and when no one else in your market is answering these questions, these leases, these offers, these deals and incentives, you don't always have to have the lowest price. No one else is putting out a price. So if you guys are out there with something, you guys are going to answer that question, you're going to get that click, or at least that swing at the plate. All right, you're also going to cost a lot less for your cost per click. The next thing with pay-per-click is there's a lot of new technology out there, guys, and I'm going to ask for a raise of hand. How many of you guys can listen to every pay-per-click call your provider provides for you right now? All right, so I was at a conference this last weekend that I was speaking at here in Vegas. I had one person raise their hand. I had 2. Guys, this has been out for 2 years. All right, I do digital marketing for Century 21, Coldwell Banker, Hilton Worldwide, USA Today. I'm telling you, the industry that we are in is light years behind everybody else. Light years behind. All right, who can track when someone clicks on their pay-per-click ad and walks into their store? Guys, it came available like 6 months ago. Why aren't these things available to you as dealers? Because you are on a rented solution. That software costs money. It also costs money to update every single time Google comes out with a new feature. All right? So typically what's going to happen is they're going to have to pay more for it, all right? Or they're going to have to wait for that software to be reprogrammed to include this new functionality. All right? This is a simple script on your website. It can record the words that they typed in to find the ad. It can record the entire call, so you can download it, grade it, everything. You can even find the words that they clicked on, the first name, last name of the user, and their telephone number. All right? This allows you to quantify what we're doing in pay-per-click. All right? We were all in traditional. When digital came along, everybody was like, we can't quantify traditional. It's so hard. Unless they walk in with the mailer or that newspaper, how do we find out if it's working? And we said, well, digital's coming and you can quantify everything digital, and here we are 8-10 years later, and we're still kind of, I don't know if my pay-per-click's working. It seems like it does. You know, the company says a lot of great things, but you don't feel it in the store. All right, and it's because you're not answering these buying-based questions. All right, so you're not trying to build a brand here. All right, we're trying to answer the question to get a swing at the plate. Click to call obviously is a big one. If you guys don't have that, then you're light years behind. But what about click to text? There's functionality right now. I know Vin Solutions has just picked it up as well to get that click to text directly into your CRM and right into your BDC with the lead. So you can start texting back and forth with these consumers right from your pay-per-click ad immediately. All right. So knowing this functionality is out here is for me is to kind of shed the light, because I was one of you guys, and unless you guys are staying up on everything that comes out digital, which is damn near impossible trying to run a dealership and to do that, all right, you got to rely on your digital partners to do that for you. So it's very important that you guys know this functionality is out there and that you guys get it utilized in your store, because it's going to greatly increase the ROI on your pay-per-click. And you know, I have a dealer as low as $4,000 on pay-per-click, all the way out in the West Coast up to $60,000 for a single Audi point store. All right, you need to make sure that you can attach an ROI to that. That's a big number at the end of every single month. All right, so this is, the functionality is extremely important here. Buying yourself up to the top of Google Maps is another big one. All right, if you're not the 3 closest dealerships, you got to make sure that you're still getting that swing at the plate. My company's out of Chicago, Illinois, and there's a lot of people that work in Chicago but live 40 miles away from home. Work 40 miles away from their work. So they are searching in Chicago but not getting their home dealerships popping up because they're searching from work. So you got to buy yourself up to the top and make sure that you guys are getting the swing at the plate on that as well. The other thing is branded. All right, a lot of pay-per-click companies are going to tell you branded is a great idea. All right, and if you go and search your own name on Google right now and you see a pay-per-click ad come up and you guys come up organically #1, I'm going to give you a little statistic straight from Google. All right, on a branded pay-per-click or on a branded search, all right, meaning if someone types in Nike or ABC Ford, they're getting that click organically 90 to 95% of the time. All right, on non-branded, it's 80 to 85% is going to organic, so you really only have a 15 to 20% chance of making that conversion. But as far as branded goes, buying into your own name is increasing in cost. Everybody says it's the cheapest cost per click that you guys have out there. It's not the case. All right, and if you look at your guys' best performing ads, typically it's going to be your name of your dealership and the city your dealership's in. All right, now these programmatic solutions are going to do the same thing. They're all written based upon how well that ad is working. So if they see a lot of clicks on it and a lot of time on site, they're going to go, this is a very good word and campaign to put more money to. So they're going to start making bid adjustments to make sure you guys always get that click. But organically speaking, you are already going to get that click 90 to 95% of the time. So all you're really doing is cannibalizing your organic. Every single time that someone types in your name, they choose to click on it in the pay-per-click bucket, you fill up a big money bucket that you dump out at the end of the month. If they type in your name or that city and your dealership and they click on the organic, your organic bucket gets heavier and your authority grows. All right, so don't cannibalize your organic by paying for your own name. All right, that's like me coming to your dealership and say, hey Mike, I'm going to bring you $5 ups today. $5 up, sign me up. I'll do that all day long. All I'm going to do is I'm going to stand out on the corner of Mike's dealership right before they turn in. When they have their blinker on, I'm going to run out there, write down their name. Back in the day, Mike, here's all the people I brought into your dealership today. Chris, that's cute, but you just stood out front taking credit for people already coming here. We're all paying for that right now. They were already coming here. All right, but for some reason, it's okay to go and pay for your own name to show up over and over and over again. Pay-per-click should be utilized to get you opportunity where you don't organically rank. All right, that is very, very big to remember. Pay-per-click buys you opportunity where you don't organically rank or you're not getting opportunity at the plate. If someone's typing in your own name, I would say about 90% of those, maybe 70, 80%, are going to be service-based searches. All right, so your new car campaigns are using up thousands of dollars to drive service traffic. All right, or your own dealership, if it's not filtered out, will sit there and let me look at my inventory. They're going to click on your pay-per-click. They're lazy. I was lazy. I understand that. All right, it's the first one at the top. It's easy for them to do. All right, so I really kind of, a lot of people will tend to want to argue about that, but I mean, I quoted it right from Search Engine Land, which was from this second quarter of this year, we saw a 61% increase in cost per click on a branded keyword search term. All right, so whoever wants to say otherwise, the data's right there. As far as a few things here, so that's I got to move kind of quick, so I'm trying to get you guys through quite a few things here. I wanted to show you guys, and I hate running out of time on this, so I wanted to show you guys what was coming up next. Is anybody familiar with Waze? All right, is anybody advertising on it? Good for you. All right, Waze is obviously owned by Google. All right, it's a program that utilizes their Google Maps API or application program interface that allows them to put ads up, show where police are, where potholes are, broken down traffic, all that type of stuff. Well, what Waze has done is they've given us the opportunity to start advertising on them. All right, guys, this is an unsaturated vertical. All right, meaning that only a couple people in here raised their hand. All right, when everybody's raising their hand, it's time to find something else. You have to diverse your portfolio when it comes to digital marketing. If you continuously do the exact same thing, you're going to just, with all those thousands of dollars, you're just putting more poles into the water, hoping to catch fish where there's 50 other poles. All right, and fishing in that pond gets increasingly expensive. All right, we see cost per clicks the last week of the month go up anywhere from $2 to $6 a click. All right, so this is a very cheap vertical. We ran this with a dealership out of Chicago, Illinois named Mancari, and we ran it for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. For $95, we had 20 confirmed navigations to the store. $95. All right, that is 1/100th of a fraction of what you guys are spending on your pay-per-click. The opportunity's there, but you got to make sure that you guys are utilizing this new stuff because it's going to get oversaturated. All right, so when this is available, it is available right now to you. All right, as a digital marketer, we do it, but they don't even have a business manager tool up yet like Facebook does on the back end. So we have to create a brand new account for every dealership that we do because it's so new. All right, but every single time that somebody that owns a car that you want to target stops at a stop sign or a red light within 5, 10, 15 miles of your dealership, you can serve your ad, your new car ad, your used car ad, your service ad, whatever it may be. If you're in one of those areas where they're going to start needing tires for the winter, all right, this is a prime opportunity to hit them right when they're in the vehicle. And you can not only get clicks directly to your website, but you can also have confirmed navigations, meaning that they saw that ad, they clicked on that ad, and they navigated directly to your store. All right, this is quantifiable advertising. You can prove and look at what you spent and the ROI on that. All right, now they're not giving first and last names, but just like how this works, they incrementally give us options or availability to that information as they're pushed to do so. All right, speaking of which, YouTube pre-roll. All right, YouTube pre-roll is huge. Google came out with, I want to say 2-3 years ago, with a case study that said that the Spanish market looks at more multimedia before entering a dealership than any other ethnic group. All right, meaning that they're watching videos and looking at pictures before they come in. I guarantee it's pictures. They say videos, but they say multimedia, but it's videos. All right. I'm assuming everybody here knows what pre-roll is, but pre-roll is the commercial that runs before what you want to watch on YouTube. All right. So if it's a movie trailer, a cooking recipe, a race or whatever it may be, that ad that shows up, all right, that you can skip after 5 seconds. If they skip after 5 seconds, you're only paying a fraction of the penny for the impression. If they watch the whole thing, you're typically looking at anywhere from a 2 to 6 cents per view. All right? The very cool thing about this is Google allows us, and I thank Facebook for this, and we'll get into that. Google allows us to tap into what they call in-market affinity audiences, meaning that we can focus on people that have been on Google, that have searched something about a mid-sized car, a new car, a used car, a lease, a specific mid-size SUV, a Ford truck, a Dodge truck. It makes no difference. You can target all of them. If you're a Ford dealer with a F-150 deal, you can focus on Silverado searchers. You can focus on Dodge Ram searchers and make sure that your ads are going directly to the consumers that are interested in them. All right. As Facebook pushed the market with the information that they were giving us as advertisers, Google found that they were losing market share. Now, I'm a huge Google fanboy, all right? But I love that Facebook pushed them into this, all right? They don't like losing market share or money going anywhere else but on their platform, which is great for them, all right? So they were forced to give us more information so we can more hyper-target that user, all right? So very big when it comes to pre-roll, don't utilize OEM messages. It can't be a commercial, guys. It's got to be personalized. And I'm telling you, I can prove this all day if you want to stop by my booth, all right? The more raw, the better. They don't want a commercial, all right? They want to see the person that they're going to deal with in the store. They want to hear them speak. They want to see the car in the deal, all right, and to invite them in. All right, so for us, it was very eye-opening when we walked into a store, and I'm not pitching it. I think anybody can do pre-roll, all right? But we walked into a store, and I asked this GM, I know it was your first month on pre-roll, and you did it with Spanish. Can you tell me how you did? And he goes, go ask him. So I went and asked Brandon, the Spanish salesperson that was on the video, and he goes, look at that board. His sales number drastically increased. Spanish people came in and knew that he spoke their language. They asked for him, all right? They made a connection with him, and it became personal. So they walk in, they say, you're the guy we saw on YouTube. You're the guy, all right? We want to work with you. All right, so finally, other people got on board because no one in the dealership wants to be on a video until they realize it's a money train. And then when somebody else got onto a video, that guy started making a stink because he was first on board, but they're trying to spread it around a little bit. You'll get the buy-in, guys. All right, a good iPhone 6 video of a walk around with the car in a quiet dealership, so you don't have a lot of noise, will perform very well. All right, make sure that within the first 5 seconds of that video, that you guys are getting that offer out right away. So even if they skip it, they're going to know $199 lease, that's going to stick with them. And you'll be following them around and doing it every time they watch a YouTube video. So YouTube is very highly targeted. It's way over indexing in the game right now. All right, so making sure that you guys have these videos out there not only on your website, but also utilizing it on Facebook, utilizing it on YouTube pre-roll, but also putting it on your Facebook, or I'm sorry, on your SEO pages, which is going to increase user experience. All right. So what I mean by that, and we'll jump up to SEO for a second. When a consumer comes onto a page, Google is treating it just like a Facebook, a pay-per-click ad. They're trying to make sure that this consumer is getting a good user experience. All right, so the first thing they're going to do is they're going to try to find out. This is a 6-time Dealer of the Year store. It's a Mike Anderson in Maryville, Indiana. They're 300-400 car Chevy Point a month, but they wanted to start breaking into the Ford market. All right, so what we did is we started building SEO pages that made them relevant, not only to their market and their local cars and their searches, all right, but also the competing market. So why would we do a page that have anything to do with the F-150? All right, they're a Chevy dealer. Because Google is not going to give you a high quality score on a Chevrolet Silverado ad with a F-150 search because your website is irrelevant to it. All right, there is nothing about the F-150 on your website, so why would they give this to them? So what you do is you build relevancy by comparing the vehicles. So what we've done here is we built a page out, Chevy Silverado versus Ford F-150. All right, ranks number 1 in Google. We built a Chevrolet versus the competition landing page, and we started putting up information that Google loves to see. Structured data. All right, we showed this vehicle in a better light than the F-150, which raised our quality scores in pay-per-click and lowered our cost per click overall. So we had relevancy for that vehicle. So you need to do this in all sense of terms. But however, when Google is looking at how this page is doing and if they should be answering this, they're looking just like pay-per-click. What is the user experience? How long did they come on this page? If your SEO pages are one picture at the top with a header and a paragraph full of information, no one's going to sit there and read that. All right? They're not going to spend a lot of time on it. They're not going to interact with that page, all right, which means they have a bad user experience. So what we did with this is a leasing versus buying page. We put a video right at the top directly from the dealership. We had structured data on the left, custom infograph on the right, and a lot of questions and answers. So what consumers typically think of leases, all right, compared to the actuality. All right, we increased their lease penetration because we became more relevant for those cars. All right, but what you need to make sure is that you have these points on your SEO pages, videos on the page. Why? Because your time on site skyrockets as they sit there and watch a 3-minute video. What other landing page in your market is going to draw 3 to 4 minutes in interaction on the page? None of them. All right, typically that market has very weak SEO. Unless you're in a major metro, even then, you have pages with decent H1, header number 1, header number 2, good page title, meta description's pretty decent. But they don't have videos, they don't have calls to action, they don't have structured data, which structured data is crawled and then ranked very highly through Google. All right, so as you see this information go up, you're going to see a much higher time on site, a much better user experience, and you're going to see a great increase in your overall page authority and site authority. And that will also rub off on your pay-per-click. All right, so that is SEO. Don't forget, when it comes to SEO, there's quite a bit more. There's 3 main parts of SEO that the way I explain it to dealers. There's front-end client-facing. That's the content. All right, that's what consumers are seeing. But there's a very big side of it. It's called back-end technical. All right, so this is a program called Screaming Frog. It's actually a free download. It'll crawl your website. It's called SEO Spider. I'm sure you've heard this when people are talking about indexing, but you can go to Screaming Frog, you can download this program, you can put your URL in there, and it'll crawl every single one of the pages that you have. It'll tell you if it's 404ing out, which means the page is missing, if it's been 301 redirected. It'll tell you how the page is described. 90% of these times the pages are described that you're this dealer that sells these cars in this city. Why? Because your OEMs don't update this. I would say about 75% of SEO companies out there completely ignore back-end technical. All right, you can look at Moz.com or Search Engine Land and see that the ranking factors for H1, header number 1, and header number 2, all right, are a very big, important part of this. So this is the back-end technical, making sure that your pages, your finance page on special secondary finance actually is described as that, not as of, ABC Ford, we sell Fords in City 1, 2, and 3. Been in business for 50 years. Google doesn't know how to rank that. So they're looking at just the front-end client-facing content. So you have 3 parts of it: content, back-end technical, and then third-party. Third-party are outside sources. I like to quote where I get my information so you guys can go look at it for yourself. Who is familiar with NAP IYP citation consistency? All right, I know everybody's eyes opened up real big. Name, address, phone number across internet yellow pages. So what Google said back in 2014 with the pigeon algorithm update, the pigeon's a local bird, this algorithm updated affected local search results. You can go read the article, go search it for yourself. This was in 2014. Has anybody ever heard of this? All right, 2, 3 people. That means your local SEO is suffering from this, and you don't even know. I'm not blaming you, I'm blaming our industry. You are not aware of what's going on. This has affected your SEO in 2014. In 2016, the pigeon algorithm the possum algorithm update came out. The possum algorithm update said, hey, you know that pigeon algorithm update from 2014, 2 years ago? It's now 10 times more important. So make sure that you update this. So what they're saying is they want NAP, IYP citation consistency, name, address, phone number, and URL across internet yellow pages. And internet yellow pages is exactly what you guys think it is. Remember those books? We use them as doorstops now that had all the first name or last name email, the name, address, phone number of every business out there. So if you have an inconsistent name, address, phone number across one of these 45 listings, all right, you get starting to docked. All All right, and eventually, I mean, a lot of you guys are going to end up going in there and searching this, and you can go to moz.com/local, all right, and that's moz.com/local, and type in your business name. It'll pull up 10 internet yellow pages and show you how you're doing on the 10 primaries. There's 45 of them. Now you can go through a third-party source like Yext or Dex and you can rent them, $10, $15, $30 a month, but they're not going to take control of your name, address, phone number on your original. They're going to set up facade listings. Basically, they're going to set up a new one for you. And the second you stop paying for that subscription, it goes away. So you're right back where you were. What you need to do is go take advantage or take control of these listings, these name, address, phone number listings. These are on everything from Google to Facebook to Dex, Yext, and beyond. You need to make sure that you are, I mean, this is a listing of them right here, all right, but there's quite a few of them. If you're, let's say you're on 123 South West Street, and on one of these listings, you're 123 S.West Street, and the other one you're at 123 SOUTH West Street, it's inconsistent. Right there you have a problem. So you got to go in there and you got to control this. So when it comes to SEO, not to get on too much of a tangent on this, when it comes to this SEO, you got to make sure that you're not just you're not going to the gym and eating like crap right afterwards. All right, you got to hit all three parts of this diet to make sure that you get the results that you want. Otherwise, you're spinning your wheels. So if someone's coming and selling you SEO and all they're doing is making content for your website, it's not enough. All right, it's just working out, and then you're going right back to your old habits right afterwards. You have to make sure all three of these are hit. All right, next month something else might come out. You got to make sure that your dealership's on top of that. I know this seems remedial, but I'm telling you, you're suffering from it right now. And the fact that not everybody has their hands up is concerning because you're already getting docked for it. You're already losing out from it. So it's a very easy thing to get updated. You just need to go take control over it. So we talked about SEO. We talked about pay-per-click. I wanted to get into to Facebook. All right. Facebook has two very different approaches to advertising. The first one is the boosted post. We stay away from the boosted post. All right. Now I have had plenty of people tell me they've had great success with the boosted post, which is great. Facebook somehow did right by you by their generic algorithm that's targeting people that they think. All right. But the sniper approach is much different. I know I've caught some flack for using guns lately. I apologize for that, so I'm going to change it up. But the sniper approach basically means it's a very direct, hyper-targeted approach. All right, we're going right after that consumer. Now this changed a little bit back in August, all right, when they took away this data from us. So there's these companies like Affinitive, Oracle, and other ones out there that are selling this data. They used to sell this data to Facebook. So Facebook would get that information from them, and they'd also get it through data sharing programs. Has anybody been to a website before that said, hey, register on this site using your Facebook page? All right, that's a data sharing program. Meaning that I'm going to tell Facebook everything that user, let's say Edmunds did it. Now Edmunds is going to say, hey, Facebook, we want to know everything about this user. Here's what we want to know. And Facebook's going to go, great, we're going to tell you everything you want to know, but here's what we want to know. We want to know everything they looked at on your website. So now they're sharing data. All right. Now, as that data is being shared, us as advertisers can tap into that data and go, I want to know who's been looking that has made X amount of money, that has been looking at this vehicle or this vehicle that's within 10 miles of my dealership, and Google and Facebook goes, here you go. So now we can start hyper-targeting these leads directly to them. Now, I've been through this ecosystem quite a bit, driving social media traffic to your website, taking somebody from social media mode and throwing them into your website. You're going to see a really high bounce rate and a really low time on site. We moved away from this, all right, because we did this and we did not have any way of quantifying that traffic. It was horrible user behavior, and I'm sure every couple thousand there's probably a few good buyers in there. But at the end of the day, it looked horrible. And we couldn't quantify it for our dealers. So we moved to leads. So we can generate leads. And I'm going to show you, just go right into Facebook Ads Manager and you hit lead generation. It's right there for you. Go on your Facebook page, you'll see it. You need to make very good visual ads for these consumers to catch their eye. Make sure you're putting the offer, the deal directly into it. Make sure you're building out an audience. And if you're doing this with a company already, make sure that they're building these audiences for you and that they're producing good leads for you. So when we get in here, we can actually narrow down to who's been on specific websites, who makes a certain amount of money. So if you want to make sure that you're selling Lexuses to people that can afford them and not using advertising dollars to somebody that can't, you got to make a target to, a custom audience to do so. So as we build out these audiences, yes, they give us the option that are going to buy new, used, in market, even lease. They know all this. You need to tap into this. As you tap into this, you guys are able to produce ads that go directly to those consumers. Now, once you go into those consumers, you create a lead form. This lead form will allow you to tap in and tell Google what you want to know about this user. So Facebook, not Google. I tell Facebook, I want to know the consumer's first name, last name, email, and telephone number, and I already know the ad that they clicked on. So I already know they're interested in that car, and if I have their first name, last name, email, and telephone number, I can call them up and we'll start working that lead. That's really all we need to know. You can have marital status, you can have work cell phone, you can have date of birth, their job title, everything that Facebook knows about them in their profile, they can give you, but don't be creepy about it or it's going to lower the amount of leads you get. The cool thing about this is a couple years ago, Amazon patented the one-click purchase technology. They patented it. Now that patent just came up recently, but they made it so that nobody else could use a one-button buy. And obviously Amazon went crazy and did extremely well with it, but now Facebook is utilizing it, which means that the second a consumer clicks on that email button right there, right where it says enter your email, Facebook's going to autofill that information for them. So they don't need to sit there and type it. It'll just right in. Hit submit. We use an API to shoot that lead directly into your CRM. Take that email address because you know that lead just came in. Go on Facebook and search it. Pull that guy up and start chatting with him right there. These leads are very easy to get to. All right, you're getting the information directly off their Facebook page. So it's relevant, good information for you guys to use. But don't call them up, and I'm just premising this for you because I have so many people that I walk into BDCs and they're like, yeah, we got your lead on Facebook, and people are like, what are you talking about? All right, typically they don't even know it's your dealership. I'm just being honest with you. I know this doesn't sound like the greatest thing in the world. They don't even know it's your dealership. They just know they like that car or they like that offer. So you need to treat it almost like a True Car lead where you're like, hey, this is Chris Hill. I'm from True Car. I'm the True Car, I'm your certified True Car professional here at ABC Ford. All right, premise that for them. Let them know that you were literally here just to help them along with the situation. And also meet them on their medium. All right, if they want to be on Facebook, you need to be on Facebook too to talk to them. Don't make them come to you. The cool thing about this, we never take them off of their platform. They do this all from their wall. We never take them off their platform and put them on your website. They get the lead right then and there. So I wanted to show you guys just a little case study. We ran this for about a week and a half for Mancari, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram in Chicago. This is 10 used cars. All right, 10 used cars. We went across the board here. You can scroll across. We put a price, calls to action, learn more button. As you can see, we produced 40 leads, $5 a lead, $200 in a week and a half. Call them up. They sold 6 cars off of this ad because we put the direct audience that we wanted to focus these cars to. So as you focus these ads, you get a better user experience for the user on Facebook to ensure your ads are going to the people that are going to purchase them. All right, so this is a very good way of producing leads. Now I'm telling you this right now because if it was 10 to 15 years ago and I was up here and I was telling you how great Google pay-per-click was and it was 5 to 10 cents a click, you guys would all go home, and maybe you'll do it today, you'll all go home and try to figure out the ROI on this or if you should do it. And then you might wait a couple years, and then here I am 10, 15 years later, and now it's no longer a 5 to 10 cent click, now it's a $10 to $15 click. What I'm saying is as these verticals become saturated, the cost and the effectiveness of the vertical decreases. Meaning that if you don't get into this now and you wait, what's going to happen is you're going to have 10 other dealers in the market going over the same people. You're going to have a less saturation and frequency in front of those users, and you're going to see that cost per lead go from $5 to $25. All right, and we're already willing to pay that with, and well beyond that with AutoTrader and Cars.com, but for some reason we're scared from these new verticals that are producing leads very quickly on a platform that you can get directly from that user. So the last thing I wanted to give you guys was how to grow your Facebook page. All right, the reason I tell you guys this is I'm telling you that social engagement, your social sphere of influence, dictates how you're doing on SEO. All right, so if everybody in this room, we were all friends, and I went in Facebook today and I typed in, or I'm sorry, Google today and I typed in new action movies, and the organic number one is going to be Iron Man, and then Avengers, and then whatever, right? But all you guys, or say half the room, had shared, commented, and liked the Avengers movie. That social sphere of influence is going to affect my result, which means that that Avengers movie, which was number 2, is now number 1. So now let's take this away from Avengers and let's talk about Mrs. Smith that's down the street. That's never shopped with you, but she's looking for a new Mercedes. All right, and she's 5 miles an hour, or 5 miles closer to the competitor than she is to you. But you have 15, 20, 35, 40 friends of hers that like your dealership and 1 or 2 that like the other. All of a sudden, you guys are getting social media effectiveness through the engagement, all right, that's going to push your organic higher. But we're still back to the conundrum of how we grow our Facebook page. And listen, I've done every program. I've done all the bank programs. I've done the turnkey OEM Chevy programs. I've done the Ally programs. I've done the third-party programs. It's here's how to get your car ready for the winter. Here's how to get your car ready for the summer. Here's the newest car from Ford. What do you get, like 1 or 2 likes on it? Maybe a share from one of the wives of somebody that works at your dealership. I mean, really, it's completely ineffective. All right, what happens is when you put out content from a dealership, the industry understands, or not the industry, the consumer understands that you have an agenda, that you're trying to sell them something. So what I found after years of failing at growing my social media is I found a way that nobody else has. All right, I made it from the ground up when I was still in the dealership. I'm going to give it to you today. To grow your Facebook page by removing the dealership's agenda. So here it is. For the first 2 weeks of the month, we offer a charitable giving program that allows local charities that come in and ask your GM for money every single month. I want you to tell them yes. I want you to share this. Now, local 501c3 charities in your market are going to see it. They're going to say, hey, I want to put my charity in. Or, hey, I have this dog kennel. They're about to go out of business. They need money. Can you please help them? Yes, submit them. So the first 2 weeks of the month, we allow submissions. So these charities are going to come submit. I want to put in, People for Pets or whatever, the local children's hospital, whatever it may be, they're going to submit. Now, at the end of the first 2 weeks, we close the submission. We open up voting. Now, we've written an API which allows us to gate them from voting until they like. Meaning that I'm a dog lover. If you guys are running a program that is going to help save dogs, I have no problem liking you as a dealership because you are affecting me in a personal way. Never done any business with you, but you're affecting me in a personal way, so I have no problem liking you for that. I think that's great. So at the end of the month, whoever has the most amount of votes, they can't vote without liking your dealership, is going to win a $500 501c3 write-off charity check. Now we give them a big dry erase board check. They come in with some of the dogs or the kids we put it organizational people. They come in, we present them with the check. We take a picture, we put it up on Facebook, we put it up in the dealership. Sometimes the newspaper picks it up. All right. So you've now removed yourself from Facebook, from your agenda and told, hey, look, community, I want to provide you guys with something and I want you guys to choose who we give this money to. We're already doing it. We just want to be the good guy. Now, I can't even tell you how many dealerships have come up and told me, look, Chris, you know how many people have literally walked in here and said, the reason I came to service my car or came to actually give you guys an opportunity is because you did something for my cousin's charity or my sister's charity or a charity that I follow that I thought was really great. You guys are great people for doing this. All right, now don't forget, there's a whole bunch of losers out there, but what happens to the losers club? Do you think they walk away with their heads down? No, next month they'll be back with twice as many people. All right, so ball rolling thing. You might have 4 or 5 charities the first month. I have a dealership out in Boston that has 46 now and over 20,000 likes, and they've been doing it for 6 months. You're helping the community and involving this. Now, the winners can win up to 3 times a year, but not twice in a row, so they're going to stick around. They're going to continue to support. You also get access to thousands of people's walls. So now things that you post on your Facebook page are now going to show up on their wall. So now you're getting free advertising for doing something you're already doing in the dealership, but just not getting anything out of. This is a prime way of getting something out of it. All right, so for me, this was something that really broke through the barrier and was very easy for me to do, and that was already money allocated from the dealership or the group to do something like this. I just realized that you had to remove the dealer from it. And all the dealer does is sit back and provide that $500 check and that GM finally gets to go yes to everybody. Go to my Facebook page. Not like, man, I'm really sorry I can't do it this month. Let them dictate their own. That one guy that comes into your dealership is going to push all his people to your group. Throw 10, 15 bucks behind it, boost it in your market, and all of a sudden you have a bunch of more charities that are going to want to get involved in it. All right, so I'm about out of time. I wanted to open it up to any Q&A. I kind of thrive on that. I mean, anybody got any questions? Go ahead.
Going back to SEO and listing consistency, you're talking about name, address, phone number,
and website.
So going into phone numbers, you've got a lot of dealers out there who want to be able to track where their calls are coming from, so they're going to have different call tracking numbers.
Not only does, I get that question a lot.
Yeah.
Unless you own that phone number, it's very risky because you will have to go up and update them all again. I also tell you that Google My Business page definitely prefers a local phone number. So if you're going to do that, you want to make sure that you own that phone number, and you typically want to keep it local. So I hope that answers your question. Anybody else?
So now that Facebook has removed a lot of those filters, what are you using to target those?
So they removed those filters, but they were buying those filters. And they even set it down in the corner, and I can even show it to you on here. You can see it right there, where they were buying this information, Oracle, and other companies like that. So your advertising agency should have already been aware of this, because they gave us like a 2 or 3 month window to let us know it was coming. So those advertising agencies, or the people that are running these, need to make sure that they are buying that information directly from them. And there are plugins or APIs that work directly with Facebook that allow you to tap right back into that market. Facebook got into too much trouble with sharing too much information. You guys have all heard about it on the news, so this is what they decided to do, and that's why their stock is plummeting, one of the many reasons. All right, so your advertising agency should already have that in place, and if they don't, then maybe you should be looking for somebody that does.
If you're doing it yourself, then you're going to want to find a vendor that offers like a local.
Absolutely, they're here. You know, I would look at a couple of them, because I can tell you there's some that are much better than others. But yeah, any other questions?
On the Google quality score, are they scoring the dealership's website, the dealership name, or are they scoring the ad?
They're scoring the ad campaign, the ad copy.
And every campaign gets scored?
Absolutely, every single one. Ask to see them. Ask your advertisers to see them. Go, I would like to see my campaigns and my average quality score. And I'd like to see those increase. And if they're low, can you show us why they're low? Because you're not answering these questions. The only place to see it quality score is in AdWords. So if you don't have access to your own AdWords, I can't give you a reason why. I mean, we do it. If you have nothing to hide, you don't have anything to worry about. You should know what people are what they're spending, every word that they're spending it on, the quality score of every single ad that's being shown for you. You should have real-time access to that, rather than going and searching on Google and hoping to find your ad and decide if it's a good or bad answer. So we attach not only AdWords to analytics, but give full access to AdWords directly to our clients.
Do you guys have any clients using Google seller rating extensions like Trustpilot?
No, I mean, we've seen, are anybody here familiar with AMP, Advanced Mobile Pages? We've seen, that is about the limit. I mean, obviously there's some dealers out there that are going a little bit above and beyond what most are doing. We're still trying to get buy-in for, I mean, you know, that's a very high-end question from a dealer. Going to be someone, you don't typically see that. So it's going to be someone like yourself. I mean, obviously I've known you for a long time, that are going to be exercising something like that, but we're just starting to get buy-in on AMP right now, which is Advanced Mobile Pages through Google, which is highly optimized mobile-based pages to ensure that you're ranking #1, because Google favors HTML5-based AMP, which will allow yours to load faster on phones and index faster and higher than anybody else that's not using it in your market. So that's a great question, but we don't see a lot of it yet. I'm very boutique. I mean, I've been in business for about 2 years. on my own company, and we only handle about 90 clients. We take 4 to 6 a month. So for us, we don't have thousands of dealers that might be using it. So typically not, but that's a great question.
You talked about tracking who clicks on your ad and walks into your dealership and adding a script to your site. Is that coming from Google Ads or is that from a third party?
It's a third-party source, but you can get that anywhere. All right. As far as tracking people that click on mobile-based ads and then visit your store, that's run through Google My Business. So you need to make sure that the script's on both. But it basically puts a circle around your dealership. It's a plane that shows that anybody that's clicked on your ad is cookied, and once that cookied mobile device crosses that plane, it triggers an event that shows a click and then a visit.
I see your point about modifying your own name on AdWords, but how do you respond to somebody that says, well, I don't care if my name's up there first, because now I own that space and my other competitor can't?
I go back to the fact that 90 to 95% of the, if someone's clicking on Nike, they're going to Nike. If they're looking for you, they're going for you. I mean, you certainly, I have dealers that overwrite me that want themselves at the top. I'll tell you that I do practice branded on mobile-based service campaigns because I have Jiffy Lube, NTB, Discount Tire, and everybody else pushing my dealership below the fold. So I do use it for some defensive tactics, but buying yourself to the top, find out what those competitors are saying over you. If they're saying we got great deals on cars, good luck stealing a click on that. And even if they do, it's 5% of the time, which is, extremely low. And it really depends on what they're saying over you. But I'll tell you that I'll leave the OEM name alone at this point. But there have been tier 1, tier 2 efforts to buy the entire top section of Google to keep that out, and it failed. To keep you at the top. It's just too expensive and it's not effective enough. Anybody else? Well, I mean, that's a pretty loaded question. I guess based upon the focus of the campaign and how that campaign's doing in your market. So if you're trying to dial up sales in a specific line and you have a lot of that inventory and you have a good deal to share with that consumer, it's our job as digital marketers to arm you with the data, the decision makers in the store, to know what to do with it. And if you aren't being led down that path with correct data, if they're not arming you with the fact that, hey, look, we're limited by budget on F-150s, and if you would increase your budget by $200 or $300 or reallocate your budget from a car line that maybe you only have 3 or 4 of on the market and the margin is very slim, you need to be asking more out of your advertiser. I need to be armed with data to know where to allocate. But at the same time, you really have to rely as a dealership on your digital partners, and I don't like to call them vendors because there are a lot of vendors. You should have somebody either in your dealership or a partner that you work with at an agency that you can rely to arm you with that data, all right? And to bring that to you. You shouldn't have to go through AdWords and decide where you should increase ad budget. Someone should be providing that information for you so you can do what you do best, which is sell cars. All right, so it is a loaded question. I apologize. It really depends on the situational. Sometimes you have a great deal on oil changes and you should increase your budget based upon the fact that you're going to beat everybody else in that market and you want to get that out in front of those people. But increasing your budget's not always, and I'm going to lead you down another hole here, it's not always the answer. Sometimes it's diversifying that portfolio and using that budget in a much more effective and cost-effective way than just buying more into it because you were doing pretty decent at it or you're trying to move more of those cars. Anybody else? Sure.
So I always struggle with his last question. So we have our meeting with our ad person all the time, and let's just say Chief Brent was our hottest selling car.
Sure.
It just is. And we're about 68% within our 20 miles of our store.
Fantastic.
Which sounds great, right? But at the end of the day, you want to be 100%, but you can't be 100%. You can't afford it. Then you got Jeep Grand Cherokee that is the second hottest product, and we're about 62%. Well, you want to be 75%, you want to be 100%, you can't afford it. Where does it end? It just seems like
it doesn't. It doesn't. I'm going to give you an analogy. I'm going to give you an analogy. My dealership, when I was in retail, was like, I want to get off a TrueCar. I hate TrueCar, and I was like, well, fine, here, stay on TrueCar, just don't be the highest price so you can collect data for free. Use a program against them. But what I'm getting at is, Tell me a good time to get off TrueCar. If TrueCar is producing 5 to 10 to 15 cars a month off you, tell me a good time in the year to take a 15 car hit. There's not. So it doesn't end. What I can tell you is you should increase your quality score by using better landing pages, a better SEO to become more relevant than those searches than anybody else, which is going to drive down your cost per click. Our program at Overtake is actually called progressive pay-per-click, and my dealers are like, whoa, I don't want to progressively spend more money. No, it's the exact opposite. I'm trying to get you off of that vertical. At advertisers, we don't make a lot of money dumping all that ad budget into Google anyways. All right. So if I can progressively reduce it by increasing your quality score from 10,000 or 5,000 clicks for $10,000 to 10,000 clicks for $10,000, and I've effectively doubled your traffic for not increasing your budget, you could go back to right where you were and save half that budget. You should wean yourself off of it, not continuously pump into it. You should find these more cost-effective opportunities to pump your money into. $5 a lead. I mean, I bet half the people here are spending $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month on autotradingcars.com. Imagine the amount of opportunities you can provide for yourself at $5 a lead. It won't be like that forever. So to answer your question, there is no stopping it. It's only going to get more, and the more you rely on it, the further you're into it. So that $60,000 a month Audi dealer I have on the West Coast, he hates the fact that he has to do that, but he's relying on it. So if you set your whole dealership on TrueCar sales, good luck getting off of it. They got you.
I know Google's the #1 search engine. I heard, is it true that YouTube's the second?
Yeah, absolutely. It has been for a while, actually. Believe it or not, Facebook or Google utilized the fact that us as business owners have to make Google My Business pages. I don't remember if you guys remember this, but when Google Plus came out, their social media network, they became the second largest social media network on the face of the planet. Who here has ever used that? They forced us as businesses because they got us. So they forced us to make accounts to manage our pages. So now all of a sudden they're getting millions of users because they forced us as businesses to do it. So yes, they do own YouTube, and they're utilizing that. And I'll tell you that we're Google Premier Partners. They offer us to run events with them at Mountain View, and you've seen all these companies that do that stuff. I'll drag you out to Mountain View. I'll put you in Google. They're going to push YouTube on you. It's their primary objective right now. They're pushing YouTube because they know it's over-indexing. They're the ones in control of that. All right, so yeah. Anybody else?
Back to your statement about the contest for the nonprofit. I was just curious if, for the voting, if you're using like a contesting platform or something built into Facebook that you're using.
So yes, we wrote. It's called fan gating. A couple years ago, about 4 years ago, Facebook removed the option to do that. You used to be able to get a coupon if you liked the store, or they would incentivize the like. So what we did is, here, you could run that program and be pretty successful without this API, all right? But we wrote an API that takes them off the page. And as long as that page is queried and shows that they do like your dealership, they will allow you to vote. All right, so we take them off the platform, skate the restrictions, and then put them back on the platform.
I was curious too, because I didn't know, I thought you couldn't do like gates anymore, so I was curious how you.
Yeah, it's called fan gating. It's the same difference in how Toyota dealers are getting around the ad restrictions of the price, unlock price here. So now all of a sudden it's a private deal because they turned over information. Now you can see the actual below MSRP. All right, there's a lot of ways of getting around these things. This is our way of getting around it. But I can tell you there are dealers out there that I've given this to that are utilizing it without my API, which is great. You know, if you need me, I'll be there for you. If not, I'd be more than happy to walk you through how to do it. But it's obviously more effective when you don't allow them to vote until they like your dealership. But it works both ways, absolutely.
Great, thank you.
What's your booth number?
What's that?
Where's your booth at over there?
423. Well, hey guys, I thank you so much for hanging in there with me. Have a great show.